What is going on, fitness coaches? Welcome to another episode of the Change Lives Make Money Online Training Podcast. It's your boy, Brian Mark. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about fighting off the enemy. Now, this conversation is coming because it's Monday fucking morning, and I want to make sure that you guys have the best week of your lives. So let's get our mindset dialed in. Let's get it popping. And by the way, if you're listening to this on the podcast replay, it's actually Tuesday morning. So I hope you had a fucking great Monday. Now, fighting off the enemy. I had a conversation with my grandmother this weekend, and bless my grandmother's heart. I love her to death. She raised me. She's the best. If it wasn't for her, I'd still be an addict. I love my grandma to death, but damn, that woman definitely has some financial mindset issues. So I'm talking about fighting off the enemy because my enemy is not my grandmother, by the way, in case you were wondering. My enemy is not my grandmother. The enemy I'm going to talk about as we get into today's podcast, it's not the grandmother, but I want to talk about a conversation that I was having with her. We were talking about money, and we were talking about how my sister's taking a trip out to Kelowna to come see me pretty soon. And she was like, yeah, it's like those hotels out there are really expensive. You got to pay an arm and a leg for those hotels. It's really, really expensive. Really, really expensive. And I was like, no, expensive is relative. I'm like, that hotel for me is definitely not expensive. So I'm not worried about it. She's like, well, I really hope you don't go broke. Help me out. I was like, Grandma, I'm like, it'd be fucking impossible for me to go broke. I'm rich and successful. She's like, yeah, but it's really, really tight for money right now. I'm like, Grandma, I understand that that's your perspective, but I choose not to embody that belief. I'm very rich and successful and I will never go broke helping you out. And it just got me thinking because I'm literally playing fucking Kung Fu, playing Kung Fu. And I think that if you want to be a successful online fitness coach, you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you want to be successful in general, then you need to get used to fighting off the enemy. Now, the enemy is not the person that's saying the words that are coming out of the mouth because my enemy's not my grandma. I love my grandma to death. Right? The enemy isn't the brother or sister that talks shit towards you. The enemy isn't the friend that casts seeds of doubt. The enemy isn't the unsupportive partner, even though that's what you might think. The enemy is the seeds of doubt of the words that are coming out of people's mouths. That's the enemy. The enemy is the negative beliefs that other people have that we end up adopting because we don't have a fucking conscious guard up. The enemy is when your friend tells you that online fitness coaching is saturated and you actually believe that thought. And because you believe that thought, you don't do what you need to do in order to be successful. That's the fucking enemy. And if you want to be successful, you need to get used to fighting off the enemy every single day. Because guess what? The world at largely believes inflation is higher than ever. And fucking gas prices are higher than ever. And it's getting so expensive to live. Also, motherfucker, 100 years ago, we didn't have, yes, inflation is higher than ever, but also we also have access to technology that we've never fucking had before. 100 years ago, if inflation was bad and there was nothing you could do about it, you were fucked. You didn't have the option to make money online. It was you were literally fucked. But now in today's day and age, yes, inflation might be on the rise, but also dude, I can make a fucking paid in full by going live on my Instagram. I can sign a client for $1,000 through my Instagram. That's never been a fucking thing. And so if you believe what everybody else believes about inflation, about the gas prices, about the economy, about all this bullshit, then you adopt those beliefs yourself and you accept those limitations. Dude, the enemy is the limitations, brothers and sisters. The enemy is the limitations. It's the fear. It's the negativity. It's the self-doubt. They don't understand it for themselves. And so they are casting those beliefs on you. And here's the really, really fucking tough part about this, right? And this is why it's honestly, a lot of people struggle with getting really successful is because the reason I want to fucking say this really slowly so you understand this, the reason that you have limitations, that you have self-doubt, that you have fear is because the people that raised you put those fears onto you, period. And it's not their fault. And this is why the enemy is not the parent that raised you. They also inherited beliefs from their parents, who inherited beliefs from their parents, who inherited beliefs from their parents. And so if you have limitations and you have doubts and you have fears, oftentimes that originates from the household that we grew up in. And again, that doesn't make your parents your enemy. The enemy is the limitations that you currently have. And so as you start to become more successful, you decide you want to be an online fitness coach, you decide you want to make more money, you decide you want to transform more people's lives. As that starts to become your reality and that starts to become your mantra, you got to understand that because it's a new belief, it's almost like a newborn baby, right? And with newborn babies, we got to be careful. Like we got to make sure that we don't drop the newborn baby, because the newborn baby, if we drop it, it might break. And it's the same thing. You might break your newborn baby. Good fucking analogy, Brian. Keep going. You're a fucking funny guy. But like, it's the same analogy with a new belief. When we start adopting a new belief, like you're listening to this, you're like, I can be successful. I can be a successful online fitness coach. I can do all these fucking things. That's like a newborn baby belief that you have. And when somebody comes to you and is like, yeah, right, on our coaching market saturated, it's easy to get angry at them because we want to defend our fucking new belief. We're like, hey, fucking relax. All right, relax. Like we almost like get defensive and angry at the people that are like casting seeds of doubt, but it's not their fault. They're casting seeds of doubt. They don't believe what you believe. And why would they? In their reality, they got to go to work, get paid $25 an hour, fucking come home, like kiss the man's ass, fucking watch Netflix for a couple hours, go to bed and wake up and do it all over again. That's how they make money. And so like, you can't expect them to believe that you're going to make money from your fucking cell phone and your laptop. It sounds weird, but we get angry at these people for like casting seeds of doubt. And like, guys, we can't be angry at people for doubting our fucking outlandish beliefs. We haven't shown them any evidence that they should believe us. So instead of getting angry and getting defensive, what we need to do is we really need to be like rock solid in our own belief and also like compassionate with theirs. And so with my grandma, I wasn't like, Grandma, I never want you to talk about negativity with your mindset again with finances because blah, blah, blah. That's not productive. Instead, I kindly deflected. I'm like, I completely understand why you think that way. Unfortunately, I do not think that way. And I do not subscribe to that belief because I'm very abundant. So yeah, but you got to play like fucking kung fu with your beliefs, right? Somebody's like, yeah, it's online coaching is really saturated, blah, blah, blah. I totally understand that you feel that way. And I love that. I totally appreciate that. I don't subscribe to that belief. And I know I'm going to be super successful, but like, I get why you would think that way. I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to fucking like say you're a dick for saying that. I'm just going to like, I completely understand why you feel that way. That's just not true for me. I don't subscribe to that belief. There was a comment that came in on my Instagram post. And there was a girl that was like talking about, I did a fucking podcast literally about this yesterday. It's hilarious. There's a girl that was talking about like her content. I was talking about how to find out your shadow man. And there was a girl that was like, the reach overall is decreasing and it's super hard to grow on Instagram. And every influencer is saying it. And I was like, listen, I choose not to subscribe to that belief. I choose to subscribe to the belief that it's easier than ever to go viral on Instagram. And because of that, my account is growing by thousands of followers every single week. So like, I completely respect your belief. I completely disagree. And I have a different belief. So it's like fighting off the enemy is like when somebody's casting seeds of doubt to you, they're telling you can't do it. It's too fucking hard. Online coaching saturated. There's no fucking way. This is a scam. This Brian Mark guy has weird fucking hair. All these fucking things that they're saying to you that are lies, right? You just got to deflect it in the nicest possible way. I completely respect your opinion. I have a different opinion, but like I respect your opinion to have your own. I subscribe to a different belief system and I believe that I'm going to be very fucking successful at this. But thank you so much for sharing that with me. I really appreciate it. And some people, this is the truth. Some people are really like, they need you to listen to their fucking perspective, right? Because if you're like online coaching saturated, you're like, I completely respect your opinion. I have a different belief. They're like, no, listen to me. Listen. They like need you to be right. With those people, I'll be like, okay, listen, like, no offense, but like back the fuck off. All right. Like relax. Like me and you can have different beliefs and we can still get along. Okay. Just because I don't believe the same things that you believe doesn't mean we can't be friends. Right. So like just fighting off the enemy means that if anybody says shit to you about your business, about your financial situation, about your aspirations, about your goals, tells you to be realistic, whatever, like don't be angry at them because all of us are simply products of our environment, meaning the people that raised us gave us a certain set of habits, beliefs, actions, ways of life, which developed our character. And that means like if everybody comes out as a blank slate, then it's really no one's fucking fault. This is just humanity rolling down generational beliefs from the next generation to the next generation. So being mad at your parents because they told you that you should fucking stay in school is dumb as shit because that's what they learned from their parents, right? So it's like, I wouldn't want my kid to be angry at me for something that I taught them that I believe. If they have an opposing belief, it's like, that's just the way it is. It's just different. And so I'm not angry at my grandma because she struggles with her financial mindset. I'm not like, I'm not talking to you, grandma, because you struggle with your financial mindset. I'm so rock solid in my financial abundance that when I talk to her and she has that negative financial mindset, I'm like, I love that you said that, grandma. I completely disagree with you because money comes to me frequently, easily, and effortlessly. And all you need to do is start your own business and you're fucking successful as shit. I totally understand the fact that you think that the hotel's expensive. It ain't expensive for me. Oh, I hope you don't go broke fucking trying to help me out. I'm like, I will never go broke. I'm a fucking abundant motherfucker. I literally am a millionaire. I would rather die than go broke. But I completely understand why you think that way. Like, I'm like doing it with compassion and love. I'm not doing it angrily defending my like newborn belief. It's like, this is just like who I am. And I just will not subscribe to your belief. Last thing I'll say, why is it important to fight off the enemy and say what the fuck is on your mind? Because like, listen, if you don't influence your environment, you're influenced by your environment, period, full stop. So if you aren't the person that is influencing your environment, you are the person being influenced by the environment. It's one or the other. You are either the person that's leading by example, that's leading the charge, that has a rock solid belief, that has an energy that people want to be around, has a presence about you that people are captivated by. You're either that person or you're being influenced by the environment. And if you don't have the courage or the balls or the lady balls to stand on your own beliefs with compassion, but also like a fierce love, then like you're going to be influenced by your environment. So if you're the type of person that will sit at the back of the room because you don't want to like get into like a negative conversation about an opposing belief system that you have with somebody in the room, like, dude, that's a fucking problem. Like if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And so like fighting off the enemy, if somebody casts seeds of doubt towards you, your dreams, your goals and aspirations, yo, respectfully disagree. Thank you so much for saying that. I'll be honest, I disagree. I have a different set of beliefs. I believe I'm going to be very fucking successful with this online fitness coaching, and I'm excited to show you, right? Like you got to fucking stand up for your beliefs, because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So don't be that motherfucker that sits in the back of the room because they don't want to say something that's, opposing to everybody else in the room. Like be the person that's willing to be fucking different. If you want to be like everybody else, act like everybody else. If you want to be like the 99% of sheep that go to work for somebody else their entire fucking life, they never do anything for themselves. They never actually start their own business. They never actually pursue their dreams. And then they hate on everyone that is pursuing their dreams because they gave up on their own. Go ahead. You have every right to do so. But if you want to be different, if you want to be an anomaly, then you need to think differently. You need to act differently. You need to move differently. And you need to be willing to stand up for your beliefs, stand up for your success, stand up for your unlimited fucking potential when somebody casts seeds of doubt on you, around you, or gives you a negative mindset. Hopefully this was helpful. I hope you guys have the best of your entire life. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you're listening to this podcast and you're getting value, do me a favor, leave me a rating on the podcast, all right? You can scroll to the bottom, 5-star rating, leave me a written review. Let me know what you think of the podcast. If you're listening to this on Instagram, go check out the podcast. It's the Change Lives Make Money on the Trainer podcast. Peace. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. Hopefully you got some value. If you did, and you want to learn more about how me and my team can help you scale your online fitness business to $10,000 a month, DM me 10K on Instagram at TheRealBrianMark for more information, and I'll reach out to you to see if I can help you grow an online coaching business.